Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and you're watching Area de Potter, the channel where we dive deep into global geopolitics, economic power plays, and the forces shaping the world as we know it. Before we get into today's explosive topic, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Do you think Canada is right to challenge the United States and expand its trade relations beyond American influence? I really want to hear your take, because today, this story is heating up fast. We're witnessing the emergence of a real trade war between the United States and Canada, with tariffs, retaliation, and strategic maneuvers that could redraw the global economic map in the coming years. And behind it all, the return of Donald Trump to the spotlight, a Canadian economy refusing to bow down, and a world that's slowly moving away from US-centric dependency. Let's get to it, because the game is changing. In recent days, Donald Trump has been back in full force, pushing a massive $1.2 trillion legislative package that slashes Medicaid funding and redirects $150 billion to defense spending. It is a clear message that he is rebuilding his political image around military power and economic dominance. But with that comes his familiar aggressive rhetoric. And this time, his target is Canada. Trump has harshly criticized Canada's supply management system for dairy, eggs, and poultry, claiming that Canadian tariffs reach up to 400% on American dairy imports. He's called it unacceptable and unfair, and has openly threatened new retaliatory tariffs if Ottawa doesn't dismantle the system. Canada, however, isn't backing down. The government made it clear that supply management is off the negotiating table. The system enjoys strong domestic support, especially in politically strategic provinces like Quebec and Ontario. But the Canadian response goes far beyond mere words. Instead of escalating with more threats, Canada launched a calculated, firm strategy: invest in key industries, embrace clean energy, and diversify its economy away from American dependence. At the heart of this new approach is Aluminerie, the unexpected frontline in this modern trade war. In a bold move, Aluminerie Alouette, based in Sept-Îles, Quebec, announced a massive $1.1 billion investment to modernize its aluminum plant. Backed by Hydro, the provincial utility company, the plant will operate on clean, affordable, carbon-neutral electricity, crucial for aluminum smelting. The timing of this announcement couldn't be more critical. Trump recently imposed 50% tariffs on imported aluminum, claiming it would protect U.S., but the policy has backfired, drastically increasing production costs across downstream American industries. For example, Constellation Brands, Inc. projects an extra $20 million in costs due to these tariffs. Canada, which exports more aluminum to the U.S. than any other country, is now seen as an essential supplier. Quebec alone produces about 70% of all aluminum in North America. The message from Quebec's economic minister, Christine, was sharp and to the point. Our priority is to protect our workers and our economy. Without Quebec aluminum, the U.S. cannot meet its demand. Canada's tone got even sharper when Industry Minister Jolie visited the Rio Tinto plant in Speaking live to local media, she declared, "We're in a tariff war. The battlefield is the economy, and the front line is aluminum, steel, and the automotive sector." She denounced the 50% tariffs imposed by the White House as unjustified, illegal, and a direct attack on Canadian businesses and workers. She also emphasized Canada's role as a destination for global talent, criticizing the U.S. for undermining academic freedom, and vowing to attract top researchers and scientists to Canadian universities. While all of this is unfolding, Canada is quietly and decisively transforming its trade landscape. The country is drastically reducing its reliance on the U.S. market. Recent export data shows that Canada's shipments to countries outside the U.S. have skyrocketed, while exports to the United States dropped to pandemic-era lows. The national trade deficit shrank dramatically in May, from $76 billion to $59 billion Canadian dollars, as Canadian exporters found new markets and sold high-value commodities abroad. In just 1 month, gold exports to the United Kingdom rose by over 30%, reflecting global demand for safe haven assets amid geopolitical uncertainty. Oil exports to Singapore increased, aluminum and pharmaceuticals were shipped to Italy, and premium agricultural products were sent across Europe and Asia. Pork exports to Japan rose by 13%, driven by Asia's growing appetite for high quality. Leveraging existing free trade agreements like the CPTPP in the Asia, Canada's agricultural and seafood sectors are thriving in new markets that value sustainability and food security. At the same time, Canada's long-term transition to low-carbon energy is accelerating. Although energy exports dropped slightly in May due to lower oil prices and volumes, federal investments in green hydrogen projects are advancing rapidly. From Atlantic electrolysis hubs to hydrogen transport networks and export corridors to Europe, Canada is preparing to become a global leader in renewable energy. In manufacturing, challenges remain in sectors heavily tied to U.S. supply chains, but momentum is building in advanced materials and clean technologies. Battery value chains are expanding with new cathode and anode material facilities proposed in Ontario and Manitoba, feeding into the growing demand for electric vehicles. Aerospace exports remain strong, with nearly 19 billion Canadian dollars in annual output. Government support for R&D and private sector innovation is fueling next-gen composite materials and additive manufacturing capabilities. What we re-witnessing isn't just a tariff dispute. It's a strategic repositioning. While Trump pushes a return to isolationist economics and confrontational diplomacy, Canada is crafting a new identity, a sovereign, sustainable, and globally connected economy. Ottawa is no longer playing defense. Instead, it's investing in modernization, innovation, and independence. The goal is clear: to future-proof the Canadian economy against volatility, dependency, and geopolitical blackmail. Behind this economic shift is a larger geopolitical signal. Canada is signaling to the world that it will not be a mere junior partner to the US any longer. With new trade routes, cleaner energy, smarter industries, and a diversified client base, Canada is building a new model of growth, one that doesn't rely on appeasing Washington. And the implications are serious. If Trump doubles down on economic aggression, he may find that the US needs Canada far more than Canada needs the US. The aluminum supply, the clean energy, the food exports, and the advanced manufacturing. All of it makes Canada increasingly indispensable to the North American economy. So now I ask you, is Canada making the right move by diversifying away from the US? Or is Trump justified in demanding change and threatening retaliation? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your opinion. And of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends who want to understand the real power plays happening across our borders. This is Daniel from Area de Potter, and I'll see you in the next episode. Stay sharp.